Hi, and welcome to the Flute Talk podcast, brought to you by our fans over at Patreon. What is Patreon? Patreon is a place where creators like us interact with people like you, people who want to help out creators. And for as little as $2 a month, you can help us make more great content. So be sure to check out Patreon and all of its perks at patreon.com/theflutechannel. Another sponsor of the Flute Talk podcast is the Flute Center of New York. What is the Flute Center of New York? The Flute Center of New York is the world's largest selection of flutes that you can buy. But you may be asking, do I have to go to New York? No, you don't. You can go to flutesforsale.com. That's flutes, the number 4, sale.com. Or call them. They have a great staff of flutists there that can help you with all your needs over the phone or by email. So be sure to use our code TFC for special perks. Perks like trying up to 3 to 4 flutes for up to 10 days, getting an extended 18-month warranty, and free shipping worldwide. So be sure to check out flutes, the number 4, sale.com for all your flute needs or piccolo needs or whatever type of flute that you need. They'll be able to help you out. And our last sponsor is us. We have a store. So you can go to store.theflutechannel.com and check out our Teespring store. We have shirts, mugs, hats, sweaters, and our special fingering poster for beginners. It is a massive poster. It's awesome. It's our top selling item there. So be sure to go check out store.theflutechannel.com for all your merch needs over on the Flute Channel. Now on with the show. Hi everybody, welcome to the Flute Talk podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Amélie.
We're here live in Nashville for PodX, and this is day 3. And it's been pretty good lately. It's pretty inspiring stuff for creatives like us sometimes, to go to those types of things.
So yesterday morning we presented a talk at PodX, which was called
Niche is More Than You Think.
Yeah, Niche is More Than You Think. And we had a lot of very interesting and interested participants who asked a lot of questions, and it was very stimulating and exciting. And so today we want to talk about how to expand our creativity through trying new things. So this was a first for us, doing this type of talk, and it's exhilarating to do new things. It's a bit scary, but I guess you get all those, it's also exciting, because sometimes we think about stress as a negative thing.
That's totally true.
But if we just have another point of view on stress, and instead of seeing it as something that makes us unable to move, paralyzes us, if we see it as something that pushes us to move, as excitement, because if you're excited about something, it's almost the same feeling. So it's just a point of view on it, and then it can be so rewarding, and you can grow a lot through that.
It's totally true. Yeah, it's something else. Like, it's good to, as a creator, and as your fellow, if you're a flutist listening to this, or if you're a classical musician, or whoever you are doing something creative, it's good to broaden your horizons on what's going on and see how people are also kind of going through the same thing as you are, and coming to stuff like this, or just being able to prepare yourself for like a talk in your own school, or talk in say you're a high school student, you got to do a presentation about your instrument or something. It's always interesting to see what type of creative avenues you can do beyond the thing that you're really interested in. Like how niche is connected to other niches and things like that.
Yeah, and how when you go from personal, very often it's universal. Because yesterday we talked mainly about our own experience.
Yeah, exactly.
But then we thought this can apply to so many other subjects. Even if you have another complete other subject in mind, our experience can still be valuable for the people who were present. And I think it was, because people were asking questions and really and feeling that you share and you're helpful. It's a great feeling. So we were thinking, like, how can anyone widen their horizon like that? So maybe if you're learning the flute, you never played in a band, maybe you want to try that and see how it feels, Or if you haven't played a solo concert yet, maybe you want to try that. Or maybe you want to research a subject like breathing, and if you're in band at school, ask your band director, can I present about breathing to my fellow fellow students? Or maybe you want to make your first video or your first podcast or whatever it is that kind of pushes you in a little bit uncomfortable zone, but that also makes you grow.
Exactly.
Because the right amount of stress, I feel, makes you grow. Like too much can be detrimental, but just a little bit sometimes makes you stronger, I think.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Like there's so much that you can just like do beyond like your core. If you're a flutist or say you're a violinist or a pianist, like, you know, there's styles of music you can go really deep into. You can look at how the instrument's made and know how to do those types of things, and also just like chamber music, or maybe integrating with dancers, and then you can go and like see how dancers get intense about their thing, and then they're interested in what you do too, and like, you know,
true.
It's so
you can start composing, you can work with theater, you can learn a new instrument, a new genre, learn how to improvise, start teaching. Some people are super scared of teaching. They think, oh, I'm not good enough to teach. But then you start teaching and you realize not only are you good enough, but you learn so much from teaching, and you become a better musician, I think, because you have to explain these things and they become so much clearer to you as you're doing it. And then you have to apply those concepts that you're teaching and those advice that you're giving. You have to also apply it to your own practice. Or I think, learning new things, trying new things. Because
it's true.
Yeah, we have one life, so rather just live it and experiment things.
And just like not limiting yourself to your niche itself, you know, just delimiting yourself and like just going out and broadening your way through that is something that I think going to these types of things, and I always encourage that for people, go to a conference or something that you might have a little bit of interest in, but maybe it's not everything you don't know about, but go there and learn about those things you don't know about, you know what I mean? Don't go and try to just find a flute conference. Go and find like a musicians conference, or go find like a business conference, but not for music, you know, and see what business things are going on, and see what things you can apply in, and because most things you can kind of apply to what you're doing as a creator, as artists, you know, especially with digital, like we're especially trying to encourage that with what we're doing with the digital, that any creative or musician or something like that can and should have a digital presence, because that's where all the eyes are. That's where a lot of people meet up and talk, you know, on Reddit or on YouTube, like with our community and stuff like that. And it's just amazing just to be able to talk to them and do all those types of things, and it's quite amazing.
We're in a great time. Because we have access to so much information. Even if you can't travel, there's so much you can learn from your home, you know, and there's so much you can share from your home as well.
That's what I was going to say.
So even if you say, oh, I don't have money to travel to go to these places, or you can still learn a lot, you can still share a lot, and you might be surprised, you know, of the return, you know, that you get from people, the comments or the...
Exactly.
It's always a bit scary before you start, but then
100%,
you just have to jump, you know?
Yeah, you guys gotta take you know, if you're already interested in something already, and you're like, say you're an instrumentalist, you're already dived so deep into that thing, now just share it with the world, not just the pieces that you play, but your experience in learning that, because there's so many fundamental things in learning that are in every single subject that we all share, and we all think that it's different, but actually we all share that type of way of learning and being curious. I know we were talking a lot about curiousness yesterday, and I think that's pivotal for like even an artist or even anybody, but particularly for us, like having a curious attitude towards...
I think pretty much everyone has curiosity.
Yeah,
it's
I remember
built
you were
in
saying that. Yeah.
Human beings to be curious and also creative. Like even if you don't see yourself as an artist, I think you're creative. Most people are like that. It was amazing to see how many people want to start their own podcast on so many different types of subjects, and it's beautiful to see all that creativity and that desire to share with others. And I think like we want to connect, and
Absolutely.
sometimes some people think that if it's not in person, it's not a real connection. I don't agree. I think when I listen to some podcasts, I feel a real connection, even if it's a one-way. It doesn't feel one way to me. No. It's like if I read a good book, a novel, I feel like I know the author, even if I never talk to the person.
Right.
Sometimes I feel, we would get along because I like his books. Or a good songwriter, I feel that I know the person. There's an intimacy in there, and it's a different type of intimacy than being next to someone and talking together. But I still think we shouldn't look down on that. It's still an important part of the human experience, and that's why art is so great, because you can feel
100%
a relationship as well with the person who wrote or talks or made a movie, or maybe that's why people get so interested in movie stars, or because you feel a connection even though you don't really know the person. We all want to connect.
Exactly. I think that's the whole thing, is about connecting and thinking that we don't relate, but we have so many things in relation to each other, like we always think, I'm the only one. And as an artist, I think sometimes we think, or even if not as an artist, we're alone all the time.
Yeah, we feel isolated.
Yes, isolated is a great word, exactly. But going to events or going to meetups or going and talking to people in a Discord or in a YouTube comment section or on Instagram or whatever, like being able to communicate and through digital or in person is so important, because we get to realize there's so much we're all related to. Like we have so much things that we
have more in common than we have differences. Really.
Yeah, exactly.
Even our very personal experiences are very often universal.
Yeah, totally.
So,
no, it's been a really unique experience to kind of understand like what's going on, especially in the podcast world, which is like still in its, like a lot of people were kind of saying that here, like golden age of podcasting. Like there's still so much, I think a lot of exploration for different types of people. I know a lot of like public radio is getting into that world now more and more, and then that means more money, more growth for new types of programming that's gonna inspire more listeners and more communication between the personalities and the community. I think it's bringing people even more together, but in a different way than like say television could. You know what I mean? Because it's really direct and personal.
Yeah, there's an intimacy to it, but I think also that it's beautiful to see like people with a very tiny audience sometimes feel a bit insecure about it, and some other people with bigger audience were saying, why? The people who listen to you, they like your show. It's important for them. You're giving, if you like doing it and the people like listening to it, then
exactly.
What's wrong with that? Like we sometimes self-criticize too much, or don't feel up to the same level as someone else. We compare ourselves to others, and I think it's not necessary. Yep. Like in comparing in that way, making ourselves feel insecure or not good enough, or not as good as someone else. Why? Just do your thing and share, and some people will like it, and people who don't like it, they just don't have to watch or listen. It's fine. It's a free world.
Yeah, exactly. I'm wondering, like, what would you want to recommend one person who's like, say, an instrumentalist of some sort now, the one thing they could do right now?
I don't know.
You don't know, huh?
I think it depends what would be a good challenge for them. But I think today our message for today's podcast is really try to challenge yourself. So if it's playing in a band because you never tried that, or
that's so good.
Or you did, but now you want to try another band, or you never played a solo competition, and your teacher is saying, "Hey, you should try," and you're always like, "No, it's not for me." Well, maybe you try it. What's the worst that can happen?
That's true.
You
also,
know?
like, I would. In addition, I would say, like, even just record yourself. Put your phone against the book so it's stable, and like record it, look at it, listen to it, see what you're doing. observant that way. A lot of people are scared to do that as well too, like there's a lot of things you can like explore.
Like I say, like nothing will explode if you make a mistake.
Exactly.
It's not a big deal.
And maybe even like be curious about a new skill that could possibly help you be a better artist, that's not relatable, like, or is relatable. Like, let's say, learn a little bit about video editing or a little tiny bit about audio recording.
Challenging yourself to learning new things.
So that way, the only way I feel, and I think you might agree with me, is the best way to learn a new skill is kind of just go in there without hesitation.
Learning by doing it.
Learning by doing, yes, learning by doing, exactly.
And I feel that as musicians, we put a lot of time in our instruments and learning the skill, and it's very important because like you have to practice to become good at it, but we could spend a little bit more time in learning, like you said, how to film a little bit and record, because that's where the world is going right now. That's the platforms to share. Not everyone's going to be an orchestral flutist or an orchestral musician, or there's different avenues that are opening to musicians right now. And if you want to take advantage of that, maybe you should invest a little bit of time in learning those skills as well as your music skills that you're developing, because you'll be more autonomous in sharing your work and creating the life you want for yourself.
Yeah, because those things work in, I think people eventually realize that works. They work both in tandem with each other, you know what I mean? And it's they're complementary to each other now, especially as we live in the digital world now, where we get constant clicking, constant photoing. You're seeing me doing this right now. I'm just I'm already, you don't see it, but I'm texting and doing stuff for the channel and everything like that. But I'm not saying you have to be at that level. You can actually do very interesting stuff for your own community to kind of bring awareness about what you're doing in your own town, because your own town has their own Twitter profile and all these things, and you could be showing like
and
stuff.
It's so beautiful, people who develop programs in communities or develop orchestras for amateur musicians, or I think it's so beautiful to see, like, there's so many different ways to create communities. There's online communities, there's also in-person communities. You can start a choir, a band, you can,
it's so amazing that way,
and make music alive where you live. That can also be very important for people, because music is part of life. It's been part of human life forever. And like, there's a reason why every culture uses music to celebrate important events in life. And almost everyone is musical when they're born.
Totally.
So like, there's scientific studies about it that are so interesting with little babies that prove that we are music, like our brain is wired for music right away when we're born. It's part of who we are. So if you bring that in a community and you make a place, sometimes there's no space for people to share music together, for amateur musicians, let's say. And if you create that space, people will be very grateful for that.
True.
And it might even be a job opportunity for you.
You never know. You can go to your community, you can go to your community center, or you can go to the city and talk to the city, talk to your counselor, and see, hey, there's a need for this. We don't have it. What can we do about it? And then a job comes out. I think you're now a director of this place.
Of a music program.
Of the program,
or of the little band that you started, or
because you're only going to make the opportunities if you go yourself, because no one's waiting for you. Nobody's waiting for you.
In a way they are, but they don't know they are.
But they don't know they are. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's so true. That's so good.
Yeah,
that's so true.
And
what a good point.
And I think sometimes we're sold, when we go to music school, we're sold the idea that, let's say for flutists, that making it is having an orchestral position in a big orchestra. That's kind of the dream that's being sold, or being a soloist, or there's so many ways to make a very beautiful life for yourself as a musician.
Totally.
So like, maybe think outside the box, maybe challenge yourself, and musicians are artists, and artists are also entrepreneurs. It's part of what it is. So you have to have that little kick, and it's fun, and you can build something and be proud of what you built.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, so true.
So I hope.
That's like something really like to think about, and hopefully that this inspires you to, go do something a little bit different to kind of broaden your niche or explore your niche and share it more to people.
Yeah.
And there's so much out there, and be sure to let us know. On the Anchor app, you can join Anchor, and you can leave us a comment about that.
I'd love to read comments about
it's
that.
not going to be comments. We can record them, and we actually hear your voice. So consider going and joining Anchor. It's very easy to join, very quick, and then you can, on the Anchor app, you can record from your phone a message. Maybe this week's message is more about like we were just talking about.
Yeah, pushing yourself, challenging yourself.
Yeah, what did you do this week that pushed yourself, or this month?
Or what inspired you in that podcast that you just listened to?
Yeah.
Like, what sparked in your head? Like, I could do this. Like, I would be curious to see if anyone got little ideas.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that'd be great. So be sure to join Anchor.fm and the Anchor app too, and then we'll listen to them, and we'll put some on the next show as well to kind of talk about that. And there's I know we have a couple already that we'll try to put in the next time too. I know some people have already sent some thanks. So
cool.
Even if you have a thanks, even if you want to say something that's not affiliated with that, just leave a message for us, and we'll listen to them. And
that's so
we
cool.
love hearing your voice and everything. It's so cool. And so we'll be here for one more day, and then we'll be back with another Flute Talk podcast next month. We do this every month, live on Patreon, not this time, but usually we do it live on YouTube, where you can get the live link once you join us on Patreon for as low as $2, $1 a month, whatever you like. That helps us make more of these types of shows and new types of shows as well. So join us at patreon.com/the Flute Channel, and also go to the Flute Channel on YouTube and subscribe there too. That's our home base. We love talking to you guys there too.
And if you're interested in flute lessons on Skype, you can email us at info@theflutechannel.com.
Yeah, and you do some Skype lessons there, which is really cool.
We do Skype lessons. It works very well. And also, if you are checking for a new flute, check the Flute Center of New York and use our code TFC. It gives you some perks, and it helps us out. So TFC. And they have the largest selection in the world, and they deliver everywhere. So just check them out. Yeah,
and you can reach them at flutes4sale.com. So flutes4sale.com. You can also call them too. They're all flutists there. As long as you mention us, you'll get a nice little package of perks with your flute trial, and you can try your flutes for 10 days and pick your right flute or piccolo, whatever.
Alto flute, they have everything.
They have everything.
New, old, used, everything. Yeah. So it's amazing.
And soon, in August, we're going to be slowly releasing the FluteCon, flutecon.com, which will be our first ever online flute convention. And we're going to be doing that in August. Join our newsletter at flutecon.com, and you will have first, notice of the date, how much it's going to cost, all those types of things. But we're looking at middle August, and join us on our newsletter there. And I think that's it. That's all we have for some. Oh, and also go to our store. Our store is doing pretty well. We're selling our posters, our shirts. We've talked a lot about our poster this weekend.
Because people love our poster.
Yeah, people love our poster. Yeah, and that's at
with fingerings and scales. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so many. And there's shirts and stuff, and hats and mugs. We're gonna be adding more stuff too. But you can go to store.theflutechannel.com. So that's store.theflutechannel.com.
And if you have ideas of things you would like us to have on the store, you can also email us, and we're always happy to have suggestions. Yeah, email us. Inspiration. Leave a comment on YouTube, leave a comment on Instagram. You can follow us all on those things, and on Twitter at the Flute Channel. That's us. That's everywhere. And so until next time, until next month, and until we're back in the comment sections on YouTube, we will talk to you guys next time.